YouTube, what's going on? This is Liston 3270 with Liston Unfiltered. All right, this video is going to be about Terence Bud Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. Now, September will be here before we know it. This has been a very interesting year. We've seen a lot of good fights so far. Now, Bud Crawford, how much of a chance does he really have against a guy as good and as great as Canelo Alvarez? Now, a lot of fans are not giving Bud a chance at all. No shot at all. True, we have weight classes for a reason, and Bud just jumped up from 147 to 154. Now we're talking about him jumping an additional 2 weight classes up to fight a guy who has been fighting at higher weights for several years now. He's very comfortable at the weight. This is a very dangerous fight for Bud to take. Very dangerous. Now, I feel that Bud could pull it off, and I'm probably in the minority when I say that. I feel that, he has the skill set. He has the ability to do it, but there are a lot of questions. There's a lot of unknowns. And I'm not just saying this because I'm a big Bud fan, but I truly believe that he can do it. However, moving up 2 weight classes, no tune-up, is kind of like a red flag for, a recipe for disaster. But if anybody could take on a task like this, it would be Bud. I think that, honestly, I really don't want to see a situation where, us as boxing fans clamor to see, the biggest fights possible, but then you get to see guys get ruined like Meldrick Taylor, who, was absolutely brutalized, when he fought Chavez and, was robbed of a victory. I'll do a video probably on that too, but got robbed of a victory at the end of the fight. And for all of the boxing, for all of the punishment he took, he didn't even get the win. He was robbed of that. So, I would hate for that to happen to Bud. The thing is, I'm going to look at things from quite a few aspects. All right, now, Canelo's a flat-footed fighter. He has very quick hands, but his feet are not, he's not a guy that's going to be cutting the ring off on you. And he's very smart. He's very calculated, and he takes certain courses of action in how he wants to finish you, or, he has in his mind how he's going to, get you out of there, and the thing that's kind of dangerous is for Bud, if Canelo starts landing body shots, Canelo's one of the better, probably, well, at this point, you'd have to rate him a bunk ahead of Spence. Now, when we speak about Errol Spence, Errol Spence. We know what happened when he fought Bud. I don't really have to get into that, but the thing is, Spence, is known as a big body puncher. The body punching was supposed to be a very big aspect of things, and for Spence being as active in throwing punches and also being a body puncher, he couldn't get anything done. Nothing to the body at all. I don't know if Bud would be able to neutralize Canelo in that way. If he could take Canelo's body punching away, that would be very interesting. Now, another thing is that moving up 2 weight classes, how will that affect Bud? It can't affect him in a positive way, especially the fact that he's getting older now. A lot of people, not myself included, I don't agree, but a lot of people felt, well, his fight at 154, he was slower in his last fight, and he wasn't the same, and people don't seem to understand that weight classes you are going to be different. When you're moving up, you're moving down, your body is going through physical changes. With that being said, how much slower would Bud be? You're now carrying more weight. He's going to have to find a way to carry the weight, not get tired, and deal with probably getting hit a lot to the body, unless he can find a way to neutralize Canelo from going to his body. Can he do that with a guy who hits as hard as Canelo? Now, I feel like Amir Khan, who everybody wants to hate on and knock, but Amir Khan fought Canelo and was outweighed by, they have very high amounts. Not really sure exactly how much he was outweighed by, but from what I heard, it had to be upwards of 20 pounds. It was a big deficit. If anybody knows the exact amount, put so in the comments to talk about it. But it was a huge discrepancy, and basically, Khan had his success. Khan was actually dictating the terms, and there'll be those Canelo fans. Oh well, you let him do it, and he didn't see Khan as a threat, but Khan was able to get off. Khan only started to slow down from the body punching, and me being a Khan fan as well, noticed that in that fight that his movement slowed down. His movement slowed down, and he started being more flat-footed, and Canelo started landing much more frequently, and I kind of knew that the end was coming soon. And to Khan's credit as well, he took a few good shots on the chin, but that last shot he got hit with, I think that would have knocked the horse out, honestly. I don't think that's a chin issue. I really don't. But I mean, that's just my opinion. But back to what we were discussing before. I don't know. This is gonna be an interesting fight. I really think it's going to be interesting. But I think Bud has a chance. I think he's a live dog. I think he's a live dog, in this fight, but I just pray that he really doesn't get, if he loses, he loses. If he wins, he wins. I'd be very happy, but I don't want to see him get ruined. And if he should win, then what happens? Does he continue fighting? What goes on after that? What happens? I don't know how much more Bud really wants to fight. It's a legacy thing now. He's at that point where legacy matters, and wants to cement his legacy even more. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. If Canelo goes out and does the job, he probably won't get any credit for it. I don't agree with that either. If he beats Bud, he deserves to get full credit. It's not just another big guy beating a small guy, in my opinion. It's not. It's much, much more. But boxing fans in general will find ways to marginalize fighters, whenever they can. But I don't know. But then, here's a good example, too. I mean, Canelo, when he fought Floyd, naturally, Canelo was very green. I think he had like 30, 40 fights in Mexico before he even stepped over here and fought on HBO. And, when he fought Floyd, he could barely touch Floyd. Now, Canelo has gotten a lot better than that, but, if Bud can really get on those toes and really show some real footwork and some real excellent defense, Canelo might have some real problems. Canelo's no spring chicken either. He really isn't. Canelo's been in a lot of wars. Canelo has, gone through the trenches, and he's had a hell of a career. So it's gonna be an interesting one, but I will be in the minority. I'm going with Bud when it happens. It's gonna be a very interesting fight. So and I will say it again: should Canelo win when it happens, he should be given full credit as well. Let's be fair as boxing fans. And that's gonna be it for this video. Let me think. I'm trying to think if there's any other points in this particular fight that maybe I missed. I don't know how Bud will deal with getting hit by Canelo. That the power thing is. Here's something too. Does Bud have enough power to at least, make Canelo respect him? That's an important thing. And also, in terms of dealing with power, can he deal with getting hit with Canelo shots? That's gonna be a big part of it. That's gonna be a very big part of it because Canelo has very fast hands, but Canelo's flat-footed. But Canelo sets traps too, and they're both boxing minds too. They're both thinkers, both very cerebral. So it's gonna be very interesting, and I'm expecting Bomac to come up with the perfect plan to lead Bud to victory. And on that note, if you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. You can talk about it in the comment section. What are your thoughts? How do you see it playing out? Let's chat it up, boxing family. I'm out. Until next time.